All right, guys, how are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. End of the week, end of the trading session. All right, let's take a look at what is going on in the markets. All right. All right, we'll start with the eco-weighted S&P. I've cleaned it up a little bit. Um, Typically, I leave some of the structures in place so people can see what I was looking at the time. When it was developing and how it resulted and so forth. But I went ahead now and cleaned it up, so it should be a little bit more easier for people, especially new guys, to read it. All right. So clearly, in this move here, right, long term, this is the angle of a long-term trend bull market, and right now we are literally vertical. All right, so that's one problem. Just looking at it at the surface on a weekly. All right, so let's get down on the daily, and again, this is the equal-weighted S&P. All right, you go back down on a daily. You had this big thrust-up move. You had the sideways, and then we resulted to the upside. We broke the previous high. We're now up by 11% from the previous high where we were prior to the pandemic. And we are also in a wave 3 that has formed a structure that is bearish. It's a rising wedge. This usually does need to correct. Doesn't mean it will. Eventually it will, but it doesn't mean that this cannot be pushed higher, right? It can do whatever it wants. All right. So within this context of reading the markets, this was a crucial area between the previous high and the sideways motions that we had. And as you can see, there's a gap right in here, right? It just kind of completely skipped everything, went to the previous high, consolidated just for a few days, and then off it went. All right. So now where are we? Well, we're continuing to push higher. Looks a little bit tired, okay? And if you look at the individual stocks within the S&P, they don't look all that bullish. They look a little bit tired. They're a little bit out of sync. And it was nice because today I saw a chart that indicated the same thing. All right, that on a historical average, that the overall market is quite low relative to where the index is. All right, so anyway, right now we are double topping right in here. Okay. Um, and always when you get to previous highs, you always gotta be suspect of a pullback. It doesn't mean that it can't continue higher. It's just that double top, that previous high, is a potential area of reversal. Dividend weighted S&P is kind of the same thing here. All right, rising wedge, 1, 2, 3 up, blah blah blah, the whole thing. Hasn't quite made it to the previous high. Okay, it's still struggling with that previous high all the way back here in February of last year. Trying to, see what it wants to do. The trajectory, again, if you pull it out on a weekly, it's quite steep. All right, uh, and typically that's, you know, that's an invitation for a kind of a snapback correction, and then a continuation higher if that's going to be the case. Transportation averages, all right, kind of broke down from the wedge a little bit here on this recent pullback. Let me adjust this. I hate when these lines move. All right, kind of broke down and then popped up. So again, it's going for that double top, and still it is struggling with that previous high all the way back here in September of 2018. It's having some difficulty. The VIX, right? And Yellen went to figure out what's going on with GameStop, and did the VIX come fucking flying off, huh? Yellen is not going to have any of that. But remember, one day Yellen is going to be doing the same shit, and the market is only going to get worse. And that's what happened back in 2008. Hi, Flyboy. How are you? And that's what happened in 2008, right? No matter what the Fed did or said, every time they try to do something, the market would go down more ferociously. Obviously, that's not the case now. Now it's stimulus, vaccine, stimulus, vaccine, stimulus, vaccine. Yellen is at the helm, and she's, she's on record saying that, hey, I would like to buy stocks using the Fed. Right? What does that tell you? Disaster. I'll pause here for a minute, and I'm going to go a little bit on a small rant. In the Peter Schiff days, I used to make fun of, let's go back to the gold standard. Well, yes, going back to the gold standard that $20 is going to give you an ounce of gold is stupid, right? It's very dumb because you're limiting the amount of money that is available for everybody to use, and that's not going to work. That's dumb. But it doesn't mean that the gold standard in of itself was necessarily a bad thing, because you could revalue that ounce of gold to, say, from $20 to $40 to, say, $80 to $160 to $320, and you would still get the same result, right? The value would be diminished, and it would be, defined in gold. Not that gold is anything special, okay? But you could still have a fiat currency tied to gold as long as you keep repricing the gold to dollars, right? It's not complicated. So why does that matter? Well, I'll tell you why I'm talking about this. Because when you look at the stock market now, and you're looking at the earnings yield, right, which is the value, right? So it's 2.53 today. It just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. So prices keep going higher and higher and higher. So you're doing what? You're doing essentially the same fucking thing. You are repricing that value of earnings to whatever the stock prices are. Same thing. It's like a fiat currency. You just keep repricing it higher and higher, and you're getting less and less and less and less and less value. It would be the same thing as gold, right? If you kept repricing, $1,000 to an ounce of gold, well, from 20 to 1,000, that's a devaluation. So you're getting less gold for more dollars. It's easy for people to understand that, but it's not easy when it comes to stocks for some reason. I don't know why. They don't understand value. And, we all love Buffett. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Oh my God, he's so smart. Yeah, we all like that. when we're sitting here fantasizing of being Buffett. But then when it comes time to listen to what the fuck he says, well, everybody goes, throws it out the window and is looking to go buy GameStop. It's fucking amazing. Recently, I just shared a video where Buffett says, look, you don't have to swing at every fucking pitch. You gotta wait. You gotta buy something that you understand that makes sense to you. And over the course of time, if you had 20 punch cards, you would carefully select, and each hole would be one investment. So if you only had 20 investments to make in your life, you would think very carefully about what you would buy. And he says you don't even need all 20 of them to work. You just need 4 or 5 of them to work, and there you go. And that's true. That's very true. What he's saying. Again, we love to listen to those YouTube videos and be like, oh my God, he's so smart, right? But then when it comes time to actually execute, oh, GameStop, AMC, I gotta go buy it. I gotta go. I'm beating the man. It's an amazing. I don't know why it's complicated for people to execute something so simple. And like I said today, through from 2008, the latter part to 2010 plus, I didn't fucking trade a damn stock, nothing. I didn't have to, didn't understand what the hell was going on, didn't need to, made no sense to me, and that's the way you do it. I didn't feel like I missed out on any rally or anything like that. We went into a very, very big long-term bull market, right? That's where the money's made. Here, right? Let me kind of zoom out. Okay, all in here. This is where the money's made, not this stupid shit. But people don't understand it. They don't understand it. They want the quick buck. They think if they just keep trading, that that's the way you make money, and you get GameStop and AMC, and then you're the man. And I made, whatever percentage, and I don't know. But again, value, right? Value is what you always gotta think about. And I don't see any value in the stock market right now. Right? It doesn't mean you can't trade shit, but there's no value in it. You're getting 2.5%, 2.53% of yield. They're throwing money at the economy like there's no tomorrow. And again, I'm going to say it. They're trying to solve a liquidity problem when we really have an insolvency problem. Too many fucking companies that are going to be zombies, and they're not going to maximize profit. They're going to maximize trying to reduce debt, and that doesn't hire people. Okay, that doesn't create more jobs. It doesn't create innovation. It doesn't make the economy bigger. And then they sit back and they're like, oh my God, we don't have any economic growth. Well, yeah, because everybody's trying to pay down debt. You look at Richard Koo. Google him. He'll tell you all about Japan back in 2010. He'll explain all that stuff. But for every dollar that we are printing, we are getting less and less economic growth. We're getting less and less GDP growth. In the Obama days, we printed $1. We got about 40 to 60, I think, or 60 to 80, I'm not sure, worth of GDP growth. Today, we don't even get 20%. At what point do you keep printing and the GDP starts to go negative? Where the more you print, you get less and less economic growth. It goes negative. And then what? What are you going to do then? Right? Again, it's that value. Yeah, you missed out on losing money on GameStop and AMC. Poor thing. So please try to keep this thing value in the back of your minds. Don't have this mentality that you always have to be invested or you're missing out or FOMO and all this bullshit. Don't think like that. It's not good. Understand value. Understand the gold to how many dollars are available, repricing it. think about value as, you go look at a laptop or a phone. It's an iPhone, let's say, $1,000. Okay, is that what value is that to you or me or anybody else? Well, if I go to a laborer in Dubai who makes $1,000 every 3 months, it takes him 3 months to buy an iPhone. You look at me, it'll take me in 2 hours to get an iPhone. So what's value me versus him on an iPhone? It's different, right? It depends. It depends individually how much money you earn. The price tag in of itself doesn't mean shit. It's how many hours of my life I have to spend to acquire that. The laborer has to take 2 months, 3 months to get an iPhone. It's not the same thing for me. It takes 2 hours. So understand value. So I'll keep saying it. Let them bid up price on themselves. Who gives a shit? Fuck them. Let them keep bidding up price. I'll shut up now. All right. New York Composite, again, double topping. Dow Jones, double topping. Kind of broke down. Little fuckery move here, and then boom, straight up, right? S&P 500 broke down on this recent move down. It broke from this long-term trend line, and then boom, came right back up. It's now all-time highs. Again, I'll pause here. 6.3% unemployment. Now, is it the same 6.3% unemployment that it was back in 2008? No, not even close. Right? It's not the same thing. Remember that long-term unemployed have dropped off, and this is why you'll see the unemployment rate fall. Okay, it's just a headline number. It's not the same 6.3% unemployment we had back in 2009 or 10 or whatever. It's different. It's not the same thing. So be very aware of this. When you're looking at economic data, right, you have to understand not all 6.3% unemployments are the same. They're not. They are not the same thing. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, so again, it's up against this resistance line here. It's got a little bit more room to the upside, but again, it's up against resistance. NASDAQ is the same thing. Coming up to that resistance, it has a little bit more room to go. Let me adjust this a little bit. Line moved, right? Little bit more to go to the upside until it hits it, but again, up against that resistance area. Let me go back here and fix that. All right, there we go. Okay, so keep that in mind. Small caps up against resistance, long-term resistance. Okay, this was enough of a hook to make this a valid trend line. And again, we got that fuckery move, right? Came down and then boom, straight up. Stimulus. We're gonna pass stimulus. We don't need the Senate. The Republicans, we can do whatever the fuck we want, blah, blah, blah. Okay, straight up. IPO is getting a little bit tired here. And remember, IPO has been grossly outperforming the NASDAQ. So let me give you a comparison here. Okay, there it is. This is the NASDAQ, this is IPO. Just fucking exploded to the upside. It's not even funny. Okay, so when this is starting to get tired, you want to start thinking about it. Start thinking, what the fuck? I pushed something I shouldn't have. All right, there we go. So yeah, so when IPO is starting to get tired, pay attention to that. Okay, ARC is doing a lot better. It's healthier, also double topping, but it looks a lot better. All right, Google, which is the FANGs, right? Broke out, pulled back, pushing higher again. Again, this is not a valid trend line yet. It hasn't hooked enough. It's subject to change. Just be aware of that. That's why it's gray. But it is kind of breaking out from that previous high. It's held now for about 3 days. So that's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. Europe broke down. Okay, it broke down. It's up against these previous highs. Having some difficulty in here. Broke down from this. It's not quite as thrusty to get back into structure. It's lagging a little bit. All right. So Again, the trajectory is quite steep from the recovery. So all that FOMO bullshit. UK doesn't look as good. All right, 1, 2, 3 up, breaking down from structure is having some difficulties. Germany uh, testing the previous high. It's also having some difficulties against this previous high here. You know, steep as well. A whole bunch of head and shoulders in here. It's above it now, so that's bullish. That's good. It's holding above the previous head and shoulders in here. That's good. But having some difficulties. Um, Denmark never really recovered to get back into that rising wedgie looking thing. So bias to the downside, structure below structure. Now, if it continues to build pressure in here, okay, if it continues to high base, then you can look for upside. But for now, since it's out of structure, it's kind of in the middle of no man's land. I'll keep this arrow to the downside. World Stock Market Index, again, bullish, double topping. It's actually crossed the previous high. Wedgie looking pattern. Okay. Ex-US, not doing as good. Okay, so for whatever that's worth. Okay, airlines did break out. All right, they broke out right in here yesterday, and they followed through today, so that's good. Now, what's happening in the travel industry, especially the airlines, which, I'm a pilot, so I know what's going on. There's a lot of hiring that's going to be coming. A lot of airlines are announcing hiring. Now, the first thing that you need to get airplanes off the ground is pilots. And more than half the pilots of the world are just sitting at home, twiddling their thumbs. So the hiring is important. So they're going to try to get as many airplanes up in the sky as they possibly can. Okay, it doesn't mean they're going to be profitable. It doesn't mean that all of them are going to be successful in doing this. But they're kind of front running here. They're guessing. The good thing that they have in their back pocket is that they are able to see booking in the future. So how many people are booking trips to Greece, for example, from the U.S.? They can see that. For July, June, August, right? They can see that. So they're like, okay, demand is higher. We can't see that. We only see whatever the TSA number was, yesterday, right? So that's shit. We're down 65%. But they can see that. So, yes, they're guessing, but at the same time, they have a little bit of an edge since they can see booking. I would stay away from American Airlines for now. I don't know. They're the biggest airline in the world. It depends how you want to measure it, sky miles or air miles, or how much iron they have and so forth. But they might need to downsize for American Airlines. They might have to restructure. They might have to go bankrupt. They got pensions. They got a whole bunch of fucking issues over there. But stay away from American Airlines. Southwest, I think, is the best deal right now. Okay, not that there isn't other good ones, but all right. My little indicator here, which is the shitty stocks, doing okay, but going sideways. Okay. China did really nice. Fake move to the downside, fuckery move, and then boom, straight up. Now it's testing previous highs. Okay, but again, it is within this wedgie kind of structure. The FANGs tech of China is doing really good. Right, they're pushing higher. So I know some people want to buy Alibaba or individual stocks. Again, I'm going to say you're better off buying the CQQQ than you are buying those individual stocks right now. Okay. What is it? Hainan Group, which is a very big group. They went bankrupt. That's not a good sign. Okay. Individually, it's not a big deal, but if there's more companies in China that are going to start going bankrupt, it's going to be problematic. Nifty 50 continues to push higher. Okay, clearly broke the previous high. It's just, bullish, bullish, bullish. Looking good. Japan having some difficulties up against that resistance area. Okay, it's been there for quite a long time, since January 21st, kind of stuck there up against this resistance area. And don't forget that the central bank is buying their stock, their ETF. All right, what Yellen wants to do. Taiwan continues to push higher, hasn't made it to the previous high. Korea, not. First of all, Korea extended the short selling ban until May, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's still May. On a breakout from here, you can definitely buy it, but it's kind of correcting in a nice little bull flag right here. Okay, don't hesitate to buy it if it breaks out. Saudi kind of broke down, trying to get back into structure. Nothing there. Australia, it's grinding higher slowly. Yeah, you should book a flight to Greece, Habibi. It's a beautiful place, just like Spain. Brazil, okay, kind of broke down from the structure, high base, coming back up. Yeah, everybody kind of canceled the flights last year to Greece, including me. Yeah, it sucked. It was harder for Americans, but I know Europeans. It was a little bit easier. Emerging markets continue to push higher. EEM is the same deal, no big deal. BRICS double topping. Okay, Brazil, Russia, India, China. Okay, very, very bullish. Skip that. Real estate double topping as well. XLF a little bit, behind the curve here. They're still struggling with this previous high. Okay, which is kind of the theme, right? There's so many of these that are just kind of stuck in that previous high or up against resistance or a little bit more towards resistance. And again, if you go through the S&P 500, just kind of go through the charts, you'll kind of see that there's a certain stagnation, weirdness thing going. KBE, skip that. All right, oil. Okay, in the rising wedge, getting up to that 56, 57, 58, possibly even 59 area. Eventually, this is going to correct. Okay, there's not a lot of demand going forward for oil. Not that there's not going to be more than there is today. Of course there will be, right? Things are going to improve. There's going to be some improvement in the economic data, but not to justify $60, $70 oil, not to justify stock prices where they are today. Okay, we're not talking about that kind of recovery. That it's going to be better than now, yes, of course, but not a whole hell of a lot better to justify the moves. Gold broke down from this bear flag. It's in a wave 3. I would like to start seeing this to recover and break this trend line. I would be interested if it starts to break this trend line. And this whole entire bear flag. All right, so kind of got all excited, got the bear flag, and then the continuation will come somewhere here. All right, that's what I'm looking at long term. Short term, it's got its problems. All right, maybe a little bit more downside. Oh, come on. I don't know why this is popping up. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, silver double topped, came back. It's coming into support. You can probably buy around 25.80, something like that. Okay, if it starts to break down from here, I would worry, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Commodities overall, okay, up against a resistance, wedge looking formation as well, but it is breaking out from this longer term trend line. Okay, overall commodities they look okay. Okay, and the DBC is the one that the ETF that tracks that. Okay, it's broken out. Look for a move up to $18 at some point this year. Precious metals, of course, are going to suck ass. Okay, can probably extend this. Oops, we can probably extend this And we're going to look for a little bit more of a pullback and then possibly start to break out. Base metals, little fuckery move back into structure. Steel, nothing there. Palladium, nothing there. Probably more of a pullback is required. Copper, little fuckery move back into structure. Okay. Agriculture continues to push higher. This is going to be problematic. I'm telling you, people are going to start bitching. Oh, look at my grocery shopping. It's the same thing as 2008. Hyperinflation, buy gold, buy silver, crash JP Morgan, blah, blah, blah. Sugarcane is pushing higher. Corn is pushing higher. Wheat still hasn't pushed higher, but it will at some point here in the future. Soybeans, same thing. Skip nat gas. Bitcoin broke out right there. See it? Right? This was a whole bullish setup. Broke out, came back into structure, broke out again. We need to cross this 38, 39,000 threshold, and then, we'll start marching towards that 50,000. Litecoin is broken out. Ethereum is broken out, incredibly bullish. Litecoin, skip that. All right, so the dollar. Let's talk about the dollar. Right, it has broken out of this structure slightly. Came back today. I don't know. It's difficult to tell, and I'll tell you why. You had a $900 billion stimulus. You're going to pass another $1.9 trillion stimulus. That's all bad for the dollar. It's not good. On the reverse side, you look at somebody like Europe, they don't like that shit, right? They want their currency not to strengthen, so they're going to fight that. So, you think UK wants that? They don't want that either. So, you're going to have some pushback, and that's the difficulty. That's the difficulty. That's why you got to rely on the charts. At the same time, interest rates are now, let's take a look at them. The fuck is it? There it is. All right. So look at interest rates. It's up to 1.7. I'm sorry, 1.17. All right. It's pushing up against this resistance area. All right. That's going to attract some investment. Right. Money chases yield. So it still has some room to go. Let me kind of fix this over here. Okay. A little bit. No, it doesn't have any room to go. Okay. So the higher interest rates on the 10-year, you're going to attract some investment. Let me get rid of that. All right. So you got a lot of forces that are pulling and tugging and pulling and tugging and pulling and tugging. You don't know which one is going to, be the dominant one. All right. The bill still hasn't passed. Maybe when it does pass, maybe you'll see some reversals in the dollar or something like that. But for now, neutral, right? And let's see if this starts to break out here on the 10-year. Now remember, when you get this compression where you have the earnings yield falling and the 10-year rising, that creates problems, right? That creates problems for stocks because bonds start to become more attractive. All right. What else? Let's take a look at the FANGs. Okay, Apple. They're gonna build the electric car. Whip you fucking do. Everybody and their mom is doing the same thing. Amazon, Jeff Bezos stepped down. Good for him. In 22 years, 23 years, the guy made fucking billions. Right, guy's a beast. Good for him. Let him go retire. Do something else. Microsoft. Okay, not much of a follow through. Facebook doing nothing. Netflix, little recovery. Google did a nice big, gap up and just got stuck there. Nvidia was still waiting for this thing to break out. Somebody asked me about AMD. AMD is great, chips, whatever, but Nvidia is the king of the kings. Stick with Nvidia if you're gonna buy one of the two. In fact, here, let's do this. Nvidia versus AMD. Oh fuck, I fucked it up. Okay, so Nvidia is pushing higher since December 20th. All right, you can draw this trend line here. All right, a little bit more upside to hit resistance, but if this breaks out, you definitely want to own NVIDIA. Okay, definitely want to own NVIDIA over AMD. All right, so that's how you would do that. All right, where was I? Let's look at Tesla, high basing. I said about 850 was going to be the likely top. Doesn't mean you can't go through it, but an area where there's going to be some resistance. Uh, it's kind of stuck at 850. It's been stuck there since January 21st. PayPal continues to push higher. It's a beautiful thing. This thing, it's in a universe of its own. All right. Since I made this call, NVIDIA is up about 20%. All right, so that's working out really nice. Snap. Woo! Another call that I made on this one, although I haven't marked it. That's about 26%, 27%. All right, so Snap is doing real good. Shake Shack continues to push higher. Had a little bit of a pullback. Not concerned with it. Look for this to continue higher. All right, let's look at the airlines. Delta, buy this in a breakout. Delta is okay. American, stay away from them. Southwest, I said this was a fuckery move. I was looking for more upside. Broke down, fuckery, breaking higher now. Looking really good. Alaska, right, doing okay. JetBlue, eh. Spirit broke out, so that's back into structure now. Right, so not that that would be my favorite, but I'm just saying from a technical perspective. Allegiant did really nice. Hawaiian, look for this one to break out. All right, this is going to break out. You mark this. This bitch is going to go. It's a small airline, but a little money thrown at it is going to make it go boop. Get rid of this shit. Sorry guys. All right, so look for this one to push higher. SkyWest, a little bit of a pullback, but the same deal. This is going to push higher as well. Ryanair's kind of funky still, and EasyJet, same thing. Okay, let me put this here. All right, so we expect this one to break to the upside. So I'll put the arrow here. Remember, if there's an arrow here, it's a call that I made that the bias is either up or down. That's why it's there. Copa, fuck Copa. All right, China Eastern Airlines, nice little bounce off the support area. Look for this one to push higher. Okay. Look for this one to push at least to towards the previous high, if not all the way to the top. All right, and that's a nice little move here. That's a nice little move, about 25%. All right. Turkish, still not doing anything. Right, Starbucks, look for Starbucks to go higher. There's so many of these small little businesses, coffee shops and so forth, that are going to be closing. I don't see why this is not much higher. It's not a difficult business to understand, clearly, right? So this would be like a Coca-Cola, a Buffett Coca-Cola kind of play. Right? Look for this one to push higher. Occidental Petroleum is doing good. ACB, these are small stocks that have been beaten up. I'm still looking for more upside on this one. Med System is doing fine. American Tower, keep an eye on this one. All right. Keep an eye on this one. Right here. On a break to the upside, this can really run. And you can probably make about 25-30% on this one. Okay. Boeing, kind of breaking out here a little bit. All right. A lot of government money supporting it. So Baba, kind of high basing here, but I don't know. I would stay away from that thing. All right. that's it for that. I'm not going to go much more into it. So let's take a look at the Nasdaq, which is the market leader. Uh, End of the day, what time is it now in the U.S.? 3:12. I think it's just going to probably kind of hang out there, maybe have a sharp little sell-off, and kind of wait for next week. Um, let's take a look at oops, year to date. Year to date. What's leading? Energy has been leading up 12%. Consumer discretionary up, which is Amazon mostly is up 6%. Communication 6%. Financials. What's lagging? Consumer staples, industrials, materials. So where's information technology? In the middle. It's in the middle. Hasn't really made a move to the upside yet. Okay. So let's see if the fangs continue to push higher. If they do, then market's going much higher. If not, they start to reverse, then the market is going to start to correct. It's that simple. Okay. What else? What else? Let's take a look at the daily treasury. This is February 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. And the deficit, we're almost 27 trillion. Nope, this is the wrong one, I think. We're above 27. Ah, there it is. 27.8. We're about 28 trillion. Okay. So print. And remember, this does not include the loan forgiveness yet, huh? For those Fed loans. Okay. Understand, there's a difference between small business loans, okay, which are perfectly acceptable. That's what they should do. Okay. And buying junk bonds. There's a difference. It's not so. Yeah, they're both businesses, but one is acceptable. The other one is not. Because if you're buying junk bonds, you're buying a company that's already fucking fucked. Okay. And all you're doing is creating more zombie companies. That's all you're doing. That's not a good thing. You want those companies. You want those investors to get hurt. You want them to be hurt. Because they made their bed, they made their investment. Time for you to eat shit. Sorry, nobody can foresee a pandemic and a shitty fucking president that doesn't know how to deal with it. But you gotta get hurt. It doesn't mean that the company has to go out of business. All it means is that the investors get fucking their pee-pee spanked. And if you do that, you're gonna have a lot different price discovery. Prices. If you're just going to bail them out, well, you're going to end up with a fucked up economy long term. All right. Anybody have any questions? Anybody? I know there's a little bit of a lag, so I'll wait here. Any questions? All right. Let's look at the imports improved a little bit to 6.66. I'm sorry, 66.6 billion. It was a 68.2 or something before. So a little bit of an improvement in trade. But as you can see, we are at historic levels. So that means we're exporting dollars to the rest of the world, right? That's what we're doing. Leading indicator climbed up just a pinch. Okay, but it's kind of break even, still flat. A year into this, recession, we're still leading indicator sucks. Vehicle sales per capita continues to be very weak. It's been in this trend for 40 years. Taking a look at the Buffett indicator, 189.6. Corporate equities to GDP. It's fucking insane. It's insane how expensive stocks are. Market valuation is just through the fucking roof. Okay, and same thing with standard deviation. Right, there's so many of these parameters that are just fucking exploded. It's just exploded. Everything is just out of whack completely. So, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let people keep bidding up prices of themselves. No skin off my fucking back. All right. They think, Game and AMC are cheap. Go buy them. And you get your fucking pee-pee smacked. You'll learn the hard way like I did. So, whatever. Marquee services. What else? 10-year yield starting to rise here a little bit, right? So you can see that curvature to the upside. The blue line there. Home ownership rate. Okay. It popped all the way up to 68 and then started to fall back down. We're now back to below 66. Below 65.6 actually. Okay. World stock market indexes. So what's up? Shanghai is up. Nikkei is up. Which one is the brown one? Korea is up, and Hang Seng is up. ISM manufacturing, they're very high, this level. So what does that mean? It's more likely they're not going to start to reverse here shortly. That's about it for the economic data. That's about it. All right. So we're going to see next week. Again, the bias is to the upside. They're probably going to pass this bill at some point here in the near future. Everything is going to be bullish. Everybody's going to be happy again. And then what? When is the next one coming? And I think that's something we're going to have to start to consider here. Not that it's not going to come. Of course it's going to come. But now you're starting to, they want to forgive student loan debt now. They want to start giving out $15,000, up to $15,000 per family for kids. Once that MMT cat is out of the bag, everybody's going to want free shit. And that's, again, the problem with MMT. Nothing wrong with, buying your own bonds, QEing, and, increasing deficits for automatic stabilizers and so forth. The problem is that every single time that we have this economic stabilizer that we put in place, it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. And they want more and more and more and more. Well, there's only so much you can give away. I know it sounds harsh. I know it sounds bad, but there's only so much of other people's work that, you can hand out. Eventually it's going to bite you in the ass. Okay? Not trying to be a dick here. I'm not against deficits. I'm not against helicopter money in a pandemic. I'm not against student loan forgiveness or, loans to small businesses. I'm not against that stuff. But there are limits. And then when you keep demanding that you should sit home, scratch your balls, right, and say, pay me, and that's somehow going to create economic growth, you doing nothing, well, that's not productive. And if it's not productive, then you end up with a bunch of starving billionaires, right? Zimbabwe kind of shit. I'm not saying hyperinflation, but again, you're running in the dark as fast as you can towards a cliff when you start doing this kind of shit. And politicians don't understand economics. And economists are not going to tell the politicians anything they don't want to hear. So that's just the reality of it all. All right. So no questions. All right. That's it for today, guys. Let me just do one last thing. Where's point of control? All right. So we'll start from here. Point of control is somewhere around 13,454. Okay. All right, so keep that in mind. All right. That's it, guys. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to go buy flowers for your honey bunny. Okay. Don't wait till Valentine's Day. All right. I mean, of course, you should give them as well, but give some ahead of time and trick them. Trick them. All right. Take care, guys. And don't forget, come down to patreon.com/RealMacro and subscribe. Okay? All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.